You've felt it, haven't you? That moment when the woman you care about starts to slip through your fingers. Her texts get shorter, her voice colder, her affection guarded. You're left questioning what you did wrong, replaying conversations in your head, analyzing every word, every silence. It feels like a punch in the chest, because deep down, you know she's pulling away, but you don't know why. And here's the truth most men will never hear. It's not always about you being inadequate. It's about something much deeper, something hidden beneath her behavior that you were never taught to recognize. When a woman starts pushing you away, it's rarely random. It's often a test, not in the childish sense of games, but in the psychological sense of survival. Women are wired, sometimes consciously, often unconsciously, to check if the man in their life is truly grounded. If you crumble at the first sign of her distance, she feels unsafe. If you chase her harder, begging for attention, she loses respect. And if you withdraw completely, she confirms the fear that maybe you were never strong enough to hold her world in the first place. Men are raised to believe that being good, kind, and available will keep her close. But women don't bond through ease. They bond through polarity, through knowing that the man standing in front of them cannot be shaken by mood swings, fears, or temporary storms. So when she pulls away, it's not the end of the story. It's an opening, a secret doorway, an unspoken question. Can you handle me at my worst without losing your ground? Most men respond wrong. They panic, they text more, they try to fix what doesn't need fixing. But the rare man, the man she actually craves, understands the power of stillness. He doesn't chase, he doesn't lecture, he doesn't collapse. He stays rooted, calm, and unshaken. That energy tells her more than 1,000 words ever could. It tells her she's safe to come back, because he's not leaving himself just to keep her. If you've ever been left confused by why a woman withdraws just when things seemed good, this is the first truth you need to absorb. Her push is not always rejection. It's often a test of your strength. Think about it for a second. When a woman pulls back, most men immediately assume it's the end. They start spiraling into fear. She doesn't love me anymore. She's losing interest. She must have found someone else. That panic becomes the very energy that pushes her further away. What you don't realize is that her retreat is often less about you and more about her inner conflict. Women are emotional creatures. They ride waves. Some days the tide crashes with passion, and others it pulls back into uncertainty. Your role as a man isn't to chase the tide. It's to be the shore, steady, unmoving, always there. Here's where most men fail. They confuse consistency with neediness. Consistency means you remain who you are, regardless of whether she's showering you with affection or giving you silence. Neediness, on the other hand, is when you lose your identity because you're desperate for her validation. A woman can sense this difference instantly. The moment she feels you're basing your worth on her attention, she subconsciously begins to push back. Why? Because if her affection defines your masculinity, she cannot trust you to hold her when life gets heavy. Now, let me tell you something most men don't hear until it's too late. Her pulling away is not an invitation for you to prove yourself through begging, explaining, or overwhelming gestures. It's an invitation for you to demonstrate emotional sovereignty. If you can stand in silence without breaking, if you can give her space without resentment, if you can stay rooted in your purpose while she drifts in her emotions, she will eventually come back with more respect than before. But if you collapse, if you get angry, if you bombard her with "what's wrong?" or "do you even care about me?" you confirm her deepest fear, that you're not the man she hoped you'd be. This isn't about being cold. This is about being grounded. A man who is steady in himself doesn't just win a woman's love. He earns her trust, and trust is the oxygen of attraction. Without it, no relationship survives. So when she withdraws, don't panic, don't chase, don't collapse. Remember this. The most magnetic men are not those who run after women. but those who can hold their own center so firmly that she feels safe running back to them. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine she suddenly becomes distant. Her voice changes, her touch feels colder, her availability shrinks. In that moment, most men make the mistake of trying to pull her back with logic. They explain, they reason, they ask for reassurance. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Women don't fall deeper in love through logic. They fall through emotion, energy, and presence. When you try to talk her back into closeness, you're not calming her fears, you're amplifying them. Because your very need to explain tells her you're rattled, and a rattled man cannot lead. You need to understand something primal. A woman tests distance not just to see if you'll chase, but to feel if your presence is stronger than her storm. If she senses you collapse under emotional pressure, her attraction starts to decay. Not because she wants to leave you, but because her biology tells her, this man cannot carry me through the chaos of life. And let me tell you, the chaos will always come. Stress, loss, uncertainty, doubt. She's watching whether you stand tall or fold when it hits. This is why distance is less about her leaving and more about her searching. She's not always asking, do you love me? She's asking, can I trust you when my emotions get messy? Can I still feel safe when I'm unpredictable? Can you anchor me without losing yourself? If you understand this, you'll stop seeing her withdrawal as rejection and start seeing it as the arena where your masculinity is either proven or destroyed. So how do you respond when she pulls away? You don't beg, you don't guilt trip, you don't accuse. Instead, you respect the space she's taking while remaining consistent in who you are. You continue living, building, working, moving forward. You show her, without words, that your center isn't shaken. And when she sees that, when she notices you didn't lose yourself trying to keep her close, that's when her attraction reignites. That's when the respect returns. That's when she realizes you're different from the countless men who fall apart under pressure. The man who can stay calm when she retreats becomes the man she cannot walk away from. Because deep down, every woman wants to feel she's with someone unshakable. And when you embody that energy, her push turns into a pull. Now let's be brutally honest. When a woman pushes away, your ego takes the first hit. You start doubting yourself. Am I not enough? Did I lose my edge? Is she comparing me to someone else? That voice inside you screams for answers, and that's when most men sabotage everything. They rush in with neediness, with accusations, with demands for clarity. But here's the thing, she's not looking for explanations, she's looking for energy. She doesn't want you to beg for reassurance. She wants to feel, without you saying a single word, that you're still the man she believed you were. This is where emotional control separates boys from men. The boy reacts, the man responds. The boy seeks comfort by pulling harder. The man creates comfort by holding steady. Think of it like a storm at sea. Waves crash, winds howl, chaos swirls. The boy grips the wheel with panic, jerking it back and forth, and the ship almost capsizes. The man. He keeps the wheel steady. He doesn't fight the storm. He guides through it. That's what she's looking for when she pulls away. Not someone to calm her emotions with promises, but someone who can hold steady while she battles her own internal storms. Here's a truth that will sting. Women don't always consciously know why they push men away. Sometimes it's fear of intimacy. Sometimes it's unresolved trauma. Sometimes it's a simple need to feel your strength without words. Don't expect her to hand you a perfect explanation. She may not even have one. What matters is how you handle it. Do you crumble? Do you get angry? Do you shrink? Or do you embody the strength that reassures her, even when she can't reassure herself? If you want her to come closer, paradoxically, you must be willing to let her drift without chasing. That doesn't mean ignoring her or playing games. It means continuing your mission, your discipline, your growth. When she feels that you remain strong, productive, and emotionally balanced, even in her absence, she begins to trust again. And trust, my friend, is what reopens her heart. Never forget, her push is not the problem. Your reaction to her push is what determines the outcome. Weak men panic and lose her. Strong men hold their ground. And because of that, she returns. And not just returns. She returns with deeper respect and a stronger pull toward you. There's something you need to burn into your mind. A woman doesn't fall in love with the man who gives her constant comfort. She falls in love with the man who gives her certainty. Comfort soothes for a moment, but certainty builds a lifetime of attraction. When she pushes you away, she's unknowingly asking, "Are you certain about yourself, even when I'm uncertain about you?" And this is where 99% of men fail. They beg, they chase, they over-explain, trying to force her back into closeness. But a woman doesn't return to a man because of his begging. She returns because she feels his presence even when she's gone. Think about it. If every time she withdraws, you collapse into panic, what message does that send? It tells her that your stability depends on her approval. It tells her that your confidence isn't self-made, it's rented, and she can take it away at any moment. That's not attraction, that's dependency. And dependency always kills desire. But when you remain centered, when you keep pursuing your goals, maintaining your standards, living with purpose, you show her something rare, that her distance doesn't dictate your strength. That's when she starts to feel pulled back toward you, often without even knowing why. You must understand this paradox. Women don't want to be the center of your world. They want to orbit a man who has a center of his own. When she pushes away, it's often because she feels you've lost your axis. You've begun revolving around her instead of standing firm in who you are. That pressure suffocates her, and she retreats to breathe. The man who doesn't get this thinks, "I need to give her more." The man who does get this knows, "I need to be more." Not more desperate, not more available, but more rooted, more disciplined, more committed to his mission. And here's the beauty. When she sees you thriving even in her absence, her push loses power. The distance becomes temporary. The respect rebuilds, the attraction renews. Because now, she knows you're not clinging to her for identity. You're choosing her from strength. And that choice, that strength, is what keeps a woman drawn to a man long after initial passion fades. Let me tell you something. Most men never realize until it's too late. The moment you chase a woman who is pulling away, you shift the balance of power. Not power in the sense of control, but in the sense of polarity. Relationships thrive on polarity, the masculine leading with grounded strength, the feminine responding with trust and openness. But when she withdraws and you chase, you flip the roles. Suddenly, she becomes the one being pursued, and you become the one seeking reassurance. And in that instant, attraction begins to die. Not because she doesn't like you, but because the energy no longer feels right. A woman wants to feel that if she steps back, the world doesn't collapse. She wants to know that your identity isn't chained to her moods. That's why the strongest thing you can do when she creates distance is to stay rooted in who you are. Keep living, keep moving, keep building. Show her, not with words, but with energy, that your path doesn't depend on her approval. That paradoxically creates the safety she's searching for, because she knows, no matter how far her emotions swing, you'll still be standing there, solid, consistent, dependable. Now listen carefully. This doesn't mean being cold or ignoring her. It's not about playing games. It's about embodying a presence that says, "I want you, but I don't need you to survive." That difference is magnetic. Neediness repels, presence attracts. When she senses you're not fighting for scraps of her attention, but instead living fully, she feels drawn to step closer. Not out of obligation, but out of desire. Here's the truth. The men women can't forget are not the ones who gave them constant attention. They're the ones who gave them unwavering certainty. The ones who stood tall when she tested, who didn't bend at every mood swing, who proved through silence and strength that their value wasn't negotiable. That's the man she respects. That's the man she chooses again and again. So when she pushes away, don't chase her shadow. Stand in your light. Let her see that your life doesn't pause for her distance. And when she realizes she can't shake you from yourself, she'll come back, not because you begged, but because she sees in you something she can't find anywhere else. Unshakable masculine certainty. Here's the hardest pill to swallow. When she pulls away, it exposes the deepest insecurity most men carry, the fear of abandonment. That fear is ancient, wired into your nervous system, and it screams at you to do something, anything, to pull her back. But reacting to that fear is exactly what destroys attraction. You see, women can feel when you're operating out of fear instead of strength. And the second she feels you're desperate to keep her, she instinctively questions if you're the man she can lean on when life gets hard. What she truly craves is not a man who panics when she distances, but a man who trusts himself enough to let her emotions run their course. Because here's the truth no one tells you. Her push is rarely permanent. Women are emotional beings. They shift, they test, they retreat. But just as quickly as they withdraw, they can return with twice the intensity if they feel the man they left is still the man they respect. So ask yourself honestly, when she steps back, do you lose yourself? Do you stalk her online, overanalyze every message, rehearse what to say just to pull her closer? Or do you stay calm, focused, and consistent in your path? Because women are not attracted to men who orbit them like satellites. They are drawn to men who are suns, radiating light, warmth, and gravity on their own. A sun doesn't chase planets. Planets revolve around it. That's the polarity she unconsciously seeks. This is why your purpose matters more than your panic. If your entire identity is tied to her, you'll always be weak in her eyes. But if she sees that you're driven, disciplined, and grounded in something greater than her approval, she feels safe letting her guard down. Because now, she knows you won't collapse if she falters. You become the man who gives her stability without demanding it from her. And here's the irony. The moment you stop fearing her distance, she starts fearing losing you. Because women are drawn to men who cannot be easily broken. Her push is not a rejection. It's a chance for you to prove you're that man. Handle it right, and you don't just keep her, you make her fall deeper than ever before. Let's bring this to the raw truth. When a woman pushes away, she's not just testing you, she's revealing who you really are. Because pressure doesn't create weakness, it exposes it. The way you respond in those moments shows whether you're a man grounded in strength or a boy trapped in fear. And if you're honest with yourself, you know exactly which one you've been in the past. Maybe you begged. Maybe you overtexted. Maybe you gave her your whole world just to keep her from leaving. And deep down, you felt her slip further away with every desperate move. But here's the shift that changes everything. Women don't stay with men because of comfort, attention, or sweet words. They stay with men because they feel safe in their presence. Safe doesn't mean soft, it means stable. It means when her emotions swing, you don't swing with them. It means when she retreats, you don't chase, you don't collapse, you remain. That steadiness is rare. That steadiness is what makes her heart open again. So next time she pulls back, don't ask, "What did I do wrong?" Ask, "How can I stand stronger in myself?" Because the man who can hold steady through her distance becomes the man she respects, desires, and chooses over and over. Every time you react from fear, you lose ground. Every time you respond with calm strength, you gain it. That's the hidden law of attraction women never put into words, but always feel in their bodies. And here's the final truth you must never forget. You cannot control her emotions, but you can control your presence. You cannot stop her from testing, but you can decide whether you pass. You cannot guarantee she will never walk away, but you can make sure you never betray yourself trying to hold her. And paradoxically, that's the very energy that makes her want to stay. Now I want to ask you something personal. When a woman you care about starts pulling away, do you panic and chase, Or do you hold steady and let her come back on her own? Be honest. Drop your answer in the comments below. And if this message hit you deep, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more, and share it with a brother who needs to hear these words right now.